Dad, can we talk? Because this is my life. Did you hear me? This is my life! A father acts instinctively and seeks the best for his son. He protects, contains, wards off visible and invisible dangers, and draws a stable, bright, and secure future. However, even the best intentions can go awry without warning. When the urge to help overflows, the result can turn tragic. Sometimes love, no matter how sincere and strong, is not enough. Peter is a respected and successful businessman in everyone's eyes, who lives with his wife in an orderly, almost millimetric home. The routine goes by peacefully, as if everything had its exact place. Suddenly, an ordinary night goes awry. His ex-wife, out of anguish, doesn't come to say hello. She comes to warn him that Nicholas, his teenage son, is going through something worrying at school. It's not just bad grades. He talks about isolation, strange attitudes, and emotional changes that he can't read or contain, opening a crack in the artificial calm. The next day, determined not to repeat mistakes or look the other way, Peter approaches Nicholas and seeks a direct conversation. He observes him carefully, trying to find any crack in his gaze. He asks about school, his friends, how he feels. Nicholas closes himself off in silence and barely responds, as if any word could awaken something he doesn't know how to control. The distance between them becomes visible, and the nameless void grows. Peter insists in a soft voice, full of concern, and makes it clear that he wants to understand him in order to be with him, not to judge him. The boy becomes agitated, breathing rapidly, shrinking at each attempt to open up. Faced with a wall of silence, Peter mentions that his mother plans to send him to a boarding school because she can no longer handle the situation. Nicholas reacts immediately, breaks down, and confesses that he doesn't understand what's happening to him. What dark thoughts haunt him? What dark thoughts? He asks his father to live with him. He says that he wants to be close to his little brother, and that living with his mother has become tense and suffocating, like a door that won't open. Peter's wife takes the decision uncomfortably. She's not thrilled that a teenager with emotional problems is moving into the house, especially with a baby in his care. Recognizing Nicholas's role within Peter's family, she accepts, but with reservations. But her acceptance falters when Peter reveals that he saw recent scars and cuts on the boy's forearm. The information paralyzes her, concern turns into palpable fear, and home no longer feels so safe. As the days go by, Nicholas settles in and tries to imitate normality. He sits at his desk, reviews his notebooks, pretends to concentrate. His posture alternates between effort and disconnection, as if he were clinging to a routine that doesn't feel like his own. He wants to convince himself that he can get back on track, but something inside seems to silently unravel. The domestic calm becomes fragile and tense, like a stretched string. The next day, he starts classes at the new school. From the first step down the hallway, he notices stares measuring him. Some curious, others loaded with silent judgment. That scrutiny unsettles and alienates him. The idea of starting over becomes frayed in minutes. He feels out of place, as if he doesn't belong anywhere, adding yet another weight to his invisible backpack. One morning, Peter's wife approaches him kindly and tries to help him out. Nicholas responds with cutting coldness and maintains that she is to blame for his parents' divorces. He asks her with hurt that has turned into accusation if she knew Peter was married when she met him. She tries to explain herself, but he doesn't give her any space and judges her without hesitation. He claims that his life has been ruined because of her, leaving the house wrapped in reproaches that won't go away. In the meantime, Nicholas begins therapy with a psychiatrist. Peter hopes that these sessions will bring clarity to what his son can't name, but during the consultation, Nicholas lies. He claims that he is better, that his school performance is improving, that he feels stable. He presents a polished and false version of himself, putting up a mask that hides the deterioration. And real help moves away. One night, Peter and his wife share an intimate moment in the living room. A kiss, a brief respite amidst the tension. Suddenly, Nicholas appears and interrupts them. The boy's presence cuts the warmth of the moment and freezes the atmosphere. Peter's wife feels invaded, as if losing her space in her own home were yet another annunciation, and discomfort sets in. The next morning, something unexpected happens, a flash of happiness. Peter invites Nicholas to dance, seeking to bridge the distance. The young man smiles sincerely for the first time in a long time. They dance awkwardly, laugh, and for a second, they both believe that perhaps everything can get better. The moment is fragile, but it opens a crack of light that no one dares to let go of. The feeling of happiness disappears completely when they locate a small knife concealed within Nicholas's room. Peter's wife is startled and admits that the boy's gaze is unsettling to her, that there is something disturbing in his presence. Having a knife under his pillow intensifies his fear. He tries to appear calm and say that everything will be fine. But his voice reveals otherwise, and the risk becomes difficult to ignore. When Peter confronts him, Nicholas is seen on the defensive. The boy demands that they stay out of his life. What terrifies Peter is not the tone but the evidence. He discovers new cuts on the boy's arm. His heart races as he understands that Nicholas is not improving, that the danger is still there, silent and constant. Control slips from his hands and urgency takes over. That night, tensions flare between Peter and his wife. She expresses her fear. She senses that Nicholas may be a risk to their baby and that there is something dark about him. Though he can't name it, he does sense it. Nicholas hears everything from the hallway. Rejection, shame, and pain pierce him like a blow to the stomach, and the wound deepens. With his soul shattered, Nicholas goes to his mother's house seeking emotional refuge. He arrives dejected with a vacant gaze and slumped shoulders. She greets him immediately, overcome with concern. Her face betrays her. She fears that her son is on the verge of collapse, and the premonition of tragedy tightens her insides. There, Nicholas's armor breaks. He confesses that he does not feel like he belongs in this life, that he is exhausted from carrying an emptiness that is not filled, tired of feeling sad and lost, sad and lost. The words fall heavy and devastating. His mother hugs him with desperation and tenderness, trying to calm the whirlwind, but no matter how much she squeezes, the internal abyss does not subside, and the helplessness becomes unbearable. When he returns to his father's house, Peter confronts him about school. The truth comes to the surface. Nicholas has been lying. He only attended the first day, then stopped going altogether. Peter demands an explanation, but he remains rigid, mute, entrenched. Trust cracks and conflict becomes inevitable. Peter lists the support he has been given, patience, opportunities, attempts to get closer. Nicholas continues to refuse to talk or lies evasively. Peter, overwhelmed by frustration and fear, orders that he return to school the next day without excuses. The order triggers the outburst. Nicholas loses control and pushes his father. The struggle ends with the youth falling. Peter instantly regrets it and apologizes. But the damage is left, and Nicholas flees to his room, devastated and all alone. Then, Peter and his ex-wife wait in a hospital room. The cold walls and the silence exacerbate the tragedy. After the fight, Nicholas has tried to take his own life. Peter breaks down inside and apologizes to the boy's mother. He admits that he did not know how to protect him, that he did not understand him in time, that he failed. Guilt locks him up, and the wait becomes a punishment. When the doctor receives them, she calmly explains that Nicholas must remain under observation with psychiatric treatment for a few days. They seek to prevent him from hurting himself again and to keep him in his most dangerous thoughts. The instructions are clear and firm. The parents agree, but the fear of a relapse grows, like a clock that never stops ticking. During his hospital stay, Peter's relationship with his current wife deteriorates. She prepares to travel to Los Cabos and wants him to accompany her to get some distance. She insists that they need a break. Peter refuses. His priority is Nicholas, and he will not leave his side. The pleas and reproaches clash with his decision, and the bond is strained to the point of breaking. Days later, Peter and his ex-wife visit the clinic. Upon seeing them, Nicholas clings to them and begs to be taken out of there. He describes the place as unbearable, hostile, and suffocating. Crying, he begs to go home. His request has the urgency of someone who feels like confinement is extinguishing the little light he has left, and his parents hesitate. The psychiatrist intervenes and recommends keeping him hospitalized. He states that Nicholas is still a danger to himself and that taking him out would be negligent. The direction is clear, leaving little leeway. The decision falls to Peter, who listens with the weight of fear in his chest. Torn between anguish and caution, overwhelmed, Nicholas swears that he will never hurt himself again. He promises to go to school and do everything he can, over and over again, begging not be left there. He says it with an intensity that is heartbreaking, as if this place condenses all his fears. Peter decides to leave him at the clinic, prioritizing his safety over his will. Nicholas breaks down, screaming and begging them to change their minds, and the hallway vibrates with his desperation. Just before leaving, Peter stops. The idea of abandoning him there is unbearable. He changes his mind at the last second and takes him back home. Relief comes as a brief sigh, but the doubt about whether it is the right thing to do remains unmoved, anticipating an unpredictable outcome. That night, Nicholas seems different, kind, calm, strangely happy. Prepare yourself for everyone. He is attentive, chatting enthusiastically. Warmth returns for a moment, as if the hearth has been rekindled. The serenity is disconcerting and moving, and a fragile hope appears on the table. Nicholas thanks his parents and says he loves them, that he feels lucky to have them. He speaks with unusual calm, a stillness that is both soothing and alarming. Then he retires to his room, seemingly at peace. The house is suspended in an expectant silence, fearing what he cannot name. A crash breaks from his room, a sharp blow that takes your breath away and freezes your blood. Peter and his wife react with shock. The certainty that something terrible has just happened is imposed immediately, and time seems to stop before running towards the damage already done. Months later, Peter imagines a renewed and calm Nicholas. He sees him enter more focused with a different light in his face. The boy gives her a book he wrote during his psychiatric hospitalization called Death Can Wait, where he recounts his experience and how to overcome it. The vision brings relief and a peace that finally seems possible, like a future that could have been but is not. His wife's voice pulls him out of the fantasy and brings him back to reality. Nicholas is gone. That night, he did take his own life. Peter collapses, broken as she tries to hold him. No hug can ease the guilt of a father who feels that with each decision he has made, he has lost his son, and that absence becomes an endless echo. And now I need you to watch some of these other videos and tell me your honest opinion. See you there.